hello to the Raider Nation. Thank you for people pulling up. Robert, Chili Pepper, Daniel. Yeah, I'm making my rounds today. Hell yeah. Diego Stewart, yep. Them Screets. Yeah, You got a rookie card, absolutely. Absolutely. No, all good, man. All good. Raider Jared. Giovanni. What's going on? Barrio. MJ, salute. We'll just wait here for a couple minutes here. Just actually, I got kind of a nice little collection of some rookie cards. Yeah, if you here, and that's if anyone sends me here's my address. If you send it with an envelope with your stuff, like if you put it in and then have an envelope, I'll definitely sign it. Absolutely. Here's my address, West Lafayette. Yeah, I am on X. I am at Thy Butcher 9. Here, actually, let me do this. Let me go banners. Let me go create a banner. So X at Thy Butcher. Wait, hold on. Yep. 9. Let's see. My Instagram. All right, let's see here. Hold on. Let me just make sure that I got the Instagram. Is $30 and then I'm on Facebook too as Stuart Eric Schweigert. Yeah, let's see. There we go. Oh, wait. Hold on. Go here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Good show with Waste. Oh, thank you. Absolutely. Yep. Alfredo, what's going on? Orlando, what's up? We got 40 people in here. Yeah, I wanted to just talk about this game coming up against the Dolphins. Just wanted to look at some numbers. I actually just watched some of their highlight. I watched their game against Kansas City, and I watched their game against New England. Just to get kind of an idea of what their offense is like, what they look like, what their defense looks like. So Obviously they're a very good run team. Number one in the NFL right now for yards per carry. And that's kind of the stat you want to look at. Sometimes a leading rushing team, if they're rushing it a million times, they're going to get yards, but they're averaging 5.9 yards per carry and 17 touchdowns. The Ravens is the only other team that have more rushing yards. Obviously, that's with Lamar, and more rushing touchdowns with 19. But 17 rushing 17 rushing touchdowns. They lead the NFL in 20-plus yard runs. They lead the NFL in 40-plus yard runs. And it looks like they are tied number one with the longest rushing touchdown with 76 yards. So again, they're a team that runs the ball very well. They get to it in a lot of different ways. Jet sweeps. What I saw is they like to get to the edge. Raheem Mostert is a guy that is a Purdue guy, a guy I know very well, a guy who I actually have a picture of me and him. So this was, put it up. This is actually me and Raheem when he was, this was the Big Ten championships at Purdue. And that's when he won the Big Ten 100-meter dash and 200-meter dash. So he's a guy with a lot of speed. And he's a guy that he likes to get to the edges. He likes to get to the edge. They're going to test our edges, And then the one thing I noticed, well, here, let's just take a look here. I just want to take a look at some of their other stats here. Let's see. Now let's see. Rushing fumbles. Obviously, they lead the NFL with rushing fumbles with 10. So, that's one thing we got to look at is we got to get in there and rip at that ball and punch that ball. First guy come up, wrap the guy up and rip it out. And that's probably the difference between that Kansas City game and there was that strip fumble for a touchdown. If that doesn't happen, they probably win that game. They were down 21-0 and came back and had a chance to win it there at the end. So they do turn the ball over. Let's see here. Yes. Everything's going very well. Yes. Good comment, Andy. Well, Andy, I wouldn't say that Raheem is that short. I'm just that big. You see what I'm saying? No, he's not a very big guy. No, he's not a very big guy at all. But he's quick as hell. And he's a guy who really he was more of a track dude. At Purdue, he barely even ran the ball. He returned some kicks for us. And he was just starting to learn how to be a running back. So I'm very happy with all his success. Again, another guy I'd love to see with the Raiders. Let's see. We're doing well against the quick pass, and that's one thing. Yes, they do. They like to throw it out there. They like to get the ball out quick. The other thing that I noticed that the Dolphins like to do. Here, let me just. Is, whenever you see, if they're here and you ever see, any of these guys motion out, or let's say this running back motions out, what they like to do is they like to motion that out because it gets these guys here to get outside, and then they like to throw stuff in the middle here. So whenever you see that motion towards the sideline at any point, that means they're trying to open up this middle here. And it's a very, very effective play. Very good play. And also, too, what I notice is when they run the fake jet sweep. Hold on. They'll take this guy and run him across, and Tua will turn and do the fake pitch and then come. They tend to throw it deep on those plays, on those play actions, because they're so used to getting to the side so quick, getting to the edge of the defense so quick, that guys are going to start coming down. And as soon as we start coming down, they run the play action deal and they get it out fast. And it's hard to get to Tua because they don't do a whole lot of drop, where he's got to hold the ball 4 or 5 seconds. They're getting it out quick. They're getting it to the receivers in space and letting them do the work, or if they do throw it deep, it's quick. It's this fake deal. He turns and he throws it. So our guys got to be disciplined. I talked about it on Hammer's show and Wasted show. I think the position really that needs to play really well is our safeties. If our safeties can play the come down and make nice tackles on the edge, but also play deep and help our corners on some of those deep balls, I think it's going to be crucial. Epps and Morag need to have big games, because I just don't know if they're going to allow our rushers, Crosby, a whole lot of time to get back there and sack them. They get the ball out quick. They get it out there to the edges quick. One thing also too is what Mostert will do, similar to kind of how Denver used to run. They'll do it where, he's coming to the outside, but what he's looking for is that little gap. And as soon as he sees it, boom, he's hitting it. So they're going to test our gap responsibility. We need to be gap sound big time. If we're gapped sound and we're gapped out, it's going to be tough for them to run on us. The other thing is our corners need to come up and tackle. And, with us signing, oh gosh, we were talking about him earlier. I was talking with him on Hammers or on Wasted show. The corner that we signed from New England, who AP coached in high school, he's a physical corner that comes up and make tackles, and that's what we're going to need to do. They're going to test our edge, and we need to gang tackle. That's the other thing, is they're going to try to get guys in space. We need everybody converging on the ball, from D linemen to safeties to corners. Even if they throw a look pass to the left, that corner over there on the right needs to come over. Yeah, Jack Jones. Yeah, Jack Jones. I think he's a great sign. Great sign. Those changing lamps, it's actually the bulbs. I got those. What are they here? They are Savant, I guess. Yeah, there's a little app that comes with it, so I can actually come here, and it's kind of cool. I can change the color here. See, I can move the color around, and then they actually have presets here. So, like, let's say like a candle. So it looks like a candle. They have like holidays. Let's see what this one is. That's Christmas. Goes back and forth. Little red, white, and blue. This one is Vegas. Let's see what Vegas shows. My favorite one is Aura. There you go. So, yeah, no, pretty cool bulbs, and you can turn them on, turn them off wherever you want. Let's see. Stuologist, yep. What's it like seeing Aiden have success in a Raiders uniform? Are you surprised, or is that expected? It's phenomenal. It's awesome. Again, I tell the story of when I first met Aiden. This is when me and my wife and family moved down here back to West Lafayette, Indiana, where Purdue is. And It was his freshman year. But we had so Marty Dittmar was our team chaplain when I was at Purdue. And he asked me, he said, Stu, would you come down and speak to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes at our end of the year banquet? And I said, absolutely, I would, because I do a lot of public speaking, and I love talking to teams and kids and this and that. And, I mean, you can tell if a team or kids are interested in listening and give a shit, and so I go there. There's probably 60 athletes, men, women from all sports. And I give my I talk for about 25 minutes. And at the end of it, usually people just turn around and, if they listen or not, whatever. But this young man comes up to me. He says, Mr. Schweiger, he sticks his hand out, looks me in the eye. I just want to say thank you so much for coming down here and talking. I really enjoyed your speech. I said, wow, that's pretty impressive. I said, what's your name, young man? And he said, Aiden O'Connell. I said, well, what sport do you play? He said, I play football, sir. I said, okay, what position? He said, I'm a quarterback. And I said, okay, where are you at on the day? He said, well, I'm a redshirt freshman right now, from Illinois, walk on. Didn't come here on scholarship to Purdue. He said, I'm 8th on the depth chart. And I said, here's the deal. I said, I'm pretty impressed with the way that you came up, and, not a lot of people do that. And I said, you're a guy of high character. I said, just hang in there, bud. I said, other guys will eliminate themselves and be ready when your opportunity comes. And, 6 years later, he's coming in. So one thing too, and he comes from, Jeff Brom was our head coach. Now he's down at Louisville doing great, but he's a former, played quarterback at Louisville, played in the NFL for 11 years. He was a tough coach on his quarterbacks. And whenever Aiden stepped in, I mean, again, you're talking 8th string, and we had guys that get injured, and he'd go in there and he was ready. He was always ready. And the biggest thing about Aiden is, he leaves Purdue as the all-time percentage leader for quarterbacks at he completed 72% of his passes during his time at Purdue. And now remember, Purdue is a cradle of quarterbacks, right? So you're talking about Len Dawson, Bob Greasy, Jim Everett, Mark Herman, Drew Brees, Kyle Orton. And this kid comes in, and he in his career completed more passes during his career than these guys did. And if I'm looking at a quarterback, that's a huge stat, right? I mean, he's a guy that he's throwing high percentage balls. He's getting balls to where guys can catch it. He's not forcing things. He will take some chances. He will. He's got a little bit of that riverboat gambler in him, but they're calculated risks. So no, it's awesome. I send him a message every week. And all it is just, for instance, So this past Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. Congratulations, my brother. You played amazing and made all of the Raider and Purdue alumni so very proud. Enjoy your night and go Raiders. And, thanks, Stu. Appreciate it. Just a quick little message. Just let him know that I'm watching him and what he's doing is great. And if he ever has any questions, I'm here for him. I mean, I'm his biggest fan, man. I was very happy when we got him. So again, this week I got 2, guys I mentor, Mostert and Aiden, playing against each other. So it's going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be a very fun game to watch. I want both those guys to do well. I do. I want Aiden to do better than Mostert, obviously, but it's going to be a very, very good game, coming in. So let's see here. Dolphins don't do well when Tua is sacked. They don't, and he's just tough to get to. He really is, And their secondary is a veteran secondary. They don't have a lot of interceptions, though. You look at the Miami Dolphins, and let me see their defense. So their pass defense, if you look at let's see. Where are they at here? So our pass defense is right behind them. They've given up 1,946 passing yards to our 1,987. So like 30 yards. You look at touchdowns. Their defense has given up 14 passing touchdowns, and we've given up 11. Here's what I looked at, though, interceptions. So there's only two of the teams that have the Titans have 3 interceptions, the Rams have 4, the Dolphins have 4, the Eagles have 4. So they're not a big, and I don't know if that's just because teams don't throw a lot of them, but you'd think they would if they're playing from behind. But they don't create a ton of turnovers. That's one thing that I've been really enjoyed with the Raiders. I mean, we have 9 interceptions right now. That is huge compared to the last couple of years where we've been dead in the NFL, like dead last. Let's see passing. What did I say? Yeah, passing touchdowns. Oh yeah, no, we already looked at that. Let's see their rushing defense. So they're giving up, let's see. Our rush defense is giving up 4.6 yards per carry. The Dolphins are 3.9 per carry. We've given up 10 rushing touchdowns. They've given up 9 rushing touchdowns. Let's see, rushing yards. We're second in the NFL with 1,356 rushing yards. I like seeing that. I like a team that establishes the run. And the Dolphins, 956 rushing yards. So as much as they're a running team, I mean, they're very. I feel like they are pretty balanced, and I think that's where they get to. If you can stay balanced and you're not heavy one way or the other, that's hard for a defense, especially a defensive secondary that knows that they have so much speed, because you got to play. Your angles have to be perfect. Your timing's got to be good. Your pre-snap reads, your runner pass keys. You got to really play sound football, because their whole offensive playbook is open. Obviously now, if we get up on these guys, they're going to have to get away from the run and pass more. And here's the other thing I didn't realize is they haven't played in a couple weeks. So you never know how a team's going to come off of a bye week. We've got momentum right now, and sometimes those bye weeks, they come at the wrong time. Like there's times where it's like, no, we don't even need a bye. We're gelling, we're moving forward. Our momentum, our team momentum is good. Let's just keep the season going. So you don't know how a team's going to react. So could be a deal where they've been off. Now they've had 2 weeks to prepare for us, which can be good or bad, depending on the coaches. And that they're at home. So you look at it going, it could be a deal where if we start off quick here and get up on these guys, we could kind of catch them off guard a little bit. We need to start fast. And I was actually listening to Devontae Adams talk about Aiden O'Connell. And, one thing he said, I loved last week how I think the 4 out of the first 6 passes were Devontae. And he said, yes, I love getting involved early. So that was really nice to see. And the other thing he talked about was just how Aiden's becoming more comfortable around the guys. And he's just, the more comfortable you are and the better relationship you have with your teammates, the better you're going to play. So that's awesome. I loved hearing that. Well, it's not necessarily if our DBs are fast enough. It's we just need to have good positioning. We can't get caught. Um, we can't get caught off guard, right? And also having, wherever he's at, know that there's a safety over top of you, right? We don't want to do a whole lot of zero coverage blitzes, where that's, we're sending guys and the DBs are man to man with no help. We always want to have some type of safety over top when it comes to Hill. Stu, what do you think about our number one? Instead, yeah. No, I mean, I wasn't super excited when we drafted him. Again, though, I just, as a 7th overall pick and as a defensive end, you would think that he would be, I would hope, be a little bit more explosive, but he's not. He again, I talked about this on Hammer Show. You look at Aiden Hutchinson and you look at Crosby, these, they have pop, they have fast twitch, and saying they come off the ball where he's not as quick, And one thing I thought maybe is we'd move him into the interior a little bit, But again, I think the whole thing with Chandler Jones leaving us, he kind of got stuck out there because we need him out there on the edge, and he does do a good job of staying stout and holding that edge. But I think where he could probably be like a Tommy Kelly, you move him in that interior positions and have him two gapping and getting his hands up there at his tall frame, and us getting more of a rushing edge in the draft. Chandler Jones really screwed us, which we figured he probably would, and I hope he's doing okay. But again, another fail by Ziegler and God, the other numb nuts. But again, just I think we could have done better with that number 7 pick. Thank you, Westside Media. Are the Lions better than the Raiders? Well, that's hard to say. Were they? Yes. Under McDaniels, yes. Now with AP running the show and guys getting confidence and Aiden O'Connell building and getting the offense going and utilizing players more and spreading the ball around, it'd be a much better game. I know that. I called it earlier, man. I think it would be awesome. And, it's a long shot, but the Raiders and Lions in the Super Bowl, man. And here's the deal. This. What team starts to catch fire at the right time during the season? At what point during the season? Teams can start off hot and then do this. You look at last year. Who was the hottest team going into the playoffs was the Lions. And I don't know how they didn't make the playoffs, but if they did, they would have caused some noise. And you can see that carried on into this season. And right now we've got momentum. We are the team right now with momentum, right? We don't have much to lose. It's not like the national media expects much out of us. So I mean, it's a tough question, Andy, because I have alliances to both teams. So let's see. Yo, let's see. Oh, thank you. I shared O'Connell's highlight on Facebook during the draft process. He just seemed like a QB our staff would. Yeah. Dude, he is when you talk about a quarterback, man, he is that he takes his job very serious. He knows what it's like to battle. He knows what it's like to come in and under any conditions and win. He's won huge games in college. Really, I mean, should have won the game when he started. Who did we play against? But he had 8. Getting sacked 8 times, and people wanted. Well, he fumbled the ball 3 times. Listen, as a quarterback, you need more than 3 fucking seconds back there. Okay, and every one of those sacks, I counted 1,000, 2 1,000. He's getting hit. You know what I mean? But even with that, he still stood in there and brought us from almost a 17-point deficit in the second half and got us on the 5-yard line to tie the game. So even that game showed his resilience, right? Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I am the Aiden is my dude, man. No, I went from the history, Andy. A little history. Fucking prick. I didn't know you were such a Drew Brees fan, Andrew. Yep. Let's see. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, no, I believe that. Good call here. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that. We've got the momentum. Miami's coming off of a tough loss to an AFC team in Germany with a bye week. And then you're looking at a team that they probably didn't expect, Raiders, that's a win on our schedule, especially being at home. They better have their shit together because we're a team that's dangerous right now. A very, very dangerous team. And I don't see their defensive line bringing a whole lot of pressure. Yeah, their secondary is experienced, but again, they're not creating a bunch of turnovers. I mean, I think we have more talented offensive players than they do defensive players. And if we can get up on them and have them play from behind a little bit, it's going to be a good game. I don't see us to where it's we're not in it in the fourth quarter. I really don't. I mean, I think we have every chance to win this game. I really do. I really do. Our DBs just have to be faster than the football. Well, again, guys, defensively, it's not always about speed. It's about position. You know what I mean? I mean, you look at some of these older veteran players. Again, Deion Sanders at the end of his career, he wasn't. If you were to run a 40 compared to the guys he was guarding, they'd blow him out of the water. But he knew angles. He knew situations. Just like Charles Woodson. I had the privilege to play with Charles Woodson for 2 seasons. And he was a guy that, he was athletically and physically, above and beyond, but still towards the end of his career, he wasn't as fast as these guys, but he, again, down in distance, formation. He knew where his help was. He did through film study and studying guys' releases and route combinations. That outweighs any type of speed. Speed doesn't mean shit. I mean, I knew so many fast guys that, just because of speed doesn't mean you're going to be a good football player by any means. Because if that's the case, Usain Bolt would be the best NFL player in the world. No, speed's important, but it's about knowing where you're at, where your help is. What the down and distance is, what the formation is, your pre-snap reads. That's what's important. So I don't care how fast Hill is now. And again, I don't think if you have zero help, if you don't have a safety help behind you and you're pressing Hill, probably not a good look. Probably not a good look. Give him some fucking space. Let him catch things in front of him. That offense will get They will get they'll get bored with that. Shit, play deep. Play deep. Play deep. Play zones. Don't play a bunch of man-to-man coverage. Play zone with help. Cover 3. Corners and safety, get deep. You're the deepest of the deep. Cover 4. 4 guys deep. If anything, play that cover 2 where you press the shit out of them at the line of scrimmage and you got 2 safeties over top or 2-man. Cover 5, we used to call it. But I don't think it's a good look to go, man-to-man zero coverage and try to send a blitz, because I don't think, one, we're going to get there fast enough, and you're leaving a guy on an island. And if you are going to do that, you better get some fucking depth. You better get some depth. So growing up, I grew up in Michigan, Saginaw, Michigan. I have 2 older brothers, 2 older sisters. My oldest sister went to Michigan State. I'd say my brothers were probably more Michigan fans. Lions, was our team. I wasn't a huge sports fan. I can remember telling oh man, we got to watch football. Turn it. I loved playing the sports. I didn't really like watching it. Growing up, I was a running back, so Barry Sanders was always one of my favorites. But I mean, if I were to pick a pro team and who I cheered for, would be the Lions. But it wasn't like, I was a diehard Lions fan or whatnot. But yeah, I'd say probably Lions. I mean, I loved Bo Jackson, with the Raiders. I knew about the Raiders, obviously. I remember my dad, because my dad played football at Yankton College in South Dakota, in Yankton, South Dakota. And Lyle Izado went to Yankton College. And when Lyle Izado got drafted, my dad filled in for him at defensive end when he left. So I always remember my dad talking about Lyle Izado, and I knew him. So we always kind of knew about the Raiders. So McNumbnuts, yeah, fucking. I think so. I mean, it's definitely going to be a different game for sure. No, you're right. Obviously, I mean, we beat a good Jets team at home, but and then the Giants team with DeVito, they were already a team that was struggling, but a good team, and we beat them. We beat them soundly, which was great. But this would definitely let us. This game's going to let us know really where we're at. We have momentum. 2-0 under the new coach. I'm going to say Aiden O'Connell's 2-0, even though we had that 1 star. I don't count that. Playing a good Miami team down in Miami. So this game is really going to be I'm excited. I'm very excited to see how we match up against these Dolphins, because they're good. They're a good team. They are, and specifically it's the AFC. A team that, if we do make the playoffs, could be a team that we have to face. But here's the deal. We're at that kind of midway point in the season where some teams start to go up and some teams start to go down. Obviously, right now, we're going up. We are trending up, which is great. Miami, yeah, they played a very good Kansas City Chiefs team. Should they have won? I think they should have won. But they lost. They had a bye week. So how are they going to come out? I know their coach is going to have them ready. I mean, he's a great coach. He's going to have those guys ready. But is this where the Dolphins start to slip? And again, you see it, man. It's hard for these teams to stay consistent throughout the whole year. I mean, the great ones do, but typically it's an up and down thing. And you want to be trending up when the playoffs are coming around. And right now we're trending up. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate everyone who's. And here's the deal. I want to be more consistent on here. it's just tough with my schedule, my 4 kids. I mean, I have a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 14-year-old, and every day is sports and school, and so it's just tough for me to have a regular schedule. But I do eventually want to make this a more regular thing. Oh, here we go. All right, thank you. Any thoughts on Jack Jones signing? Yeah, no, I'm pumped. I am pumped. I talked about this on Wasted Show. He again. Let me just pull up his deal here. I mean, AP coached him in high school, and then also coached him at Arizona State. So here's the deal, and that's the one thing that I am going to trust AP's opinion on players and free agencies and waiver wire guys more than anybody in the organization or has been in the organization, because AP knows football players, right? I mean, AP was a junior college guy, a free agent. And if it wasn't for a coach going, this guy can play football, and he didn't go off the numbers and how fast he was and how big and tall he was and all that bullshit that doesn't really mean anything, he's going to bring in football players. And this kid, if he's bringing them in, and I looked at the stats, I mean, 30 tackles, forced fumble recovery, 6 passes defended, 2 interceptions, a defensive touchdown. In his college career, 10 interceptions, 28 passes defended, 5 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 145 tackles. I mean, he ran a 4.51 40, 5'11", 171 pounds. I'm sure he's bigger than that now. But he's a guy who makes plays, and here's a guy that's going to come in, and he is going to, if one, AP coached him in high school and then brings him to his college team, means a lot. And then now bringing him to his professional team, I want as many guys as AP approves on our roster. Because, again, I trust his judgment. And I know that he's bringing in guys not because everyone in the front offices of other teams are blowing smoke up this guy's asses, which a lot of these GMs and head of player personnel and coaches, they get caught up in the fucking hype, right? And they bring guys in that they shouldn't because they get excited because, everyone else is talking about this guy. And since they don't know how to judge talent, they follow suit. Well, AP is not listening to anybody on the outside. Him and Champ, they're sitting down and they're bringing in and looking at players that they feel are going to give us the opportunity to be the best team on the field. So just by him bringing him in, but again, he's and Wasted talked about, he's a physical cornerback, a guy who can tackle. And here's the thing, they're going to test us on the edge, guys. That's what Miami does. They're going to make our corners tackle. And knowing we have a guy out there that's going to play balls out for this head coach, I love it. I think it's a great pickup. It's those little pickups throughout the year that are the difference when teams are coming down into the stretch of the playoffs. Picking up guys like this, being alert when guys are on the waiver wire, looking at guys going, man, if this guy, if we get a chance at this guy, we're taking him, right? So they're doing their homework. They're doing their due diligence, and that's great. Let's see. Oh, well, absolutely he had instincts. Absolutely. Oh, that's a good question. Does anyone know what number he's going to be wearing? Thank you. Eight. Number 18. Okay. God, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I don't like I don't like the numbering system. It's weird to me. Before it was this. Let's see. It was quarterbacks could wear 1 through 19. Kickers and punters could wear whatever, I think. Then it went receivers. Receivers could wear 10 through 19. And then 80. The 80 numbers. Offensive linemen were always 50s, 60s, and 70s. Tight ends were 80s. On the defensive side of the ball, defensive linemen, you could wear 50s or 90s. Linebackers were always 50s. And then corners and safeties, so the defensive backs, were 20 through 49. But now these numbers, I don't know. It's just weird to me. I want to say thank you, everybody. 139 people in here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, see, that was actually my number. My number is 9. And the closest we could get to it is I remember guys would have practice jerseys. I remember Woodson would always have a number 2 practice jersey. Whoa! What's going on? The fuck have you been, brother? How you doing? Yeah, I do too. I don't like it. I do not like it. Bring him, dude. Come on, let's go. Shit. Hell yeah. I'd love to see him and Brady get involved in the front office. Can you imagine that? I mean, come on, dude. I love this old school Raiders thing, man. Like, again, I mean, in the press conference, you talked about AP talking about I'm a Raider and bringing in this, he's a guy from my era, where, and I've said this in the past, like, there's a certain what's the word I'm looking for? When you play in the NFL, there's a standard, there's a history that comes behind it. There's a type of mentality that you need to play with in the NFL. Now, you even go when you talk about the Raiders, there's even a higher, even more of a type of attitude and playing style and how you approach the game and how you act and the type of chip you have on your shoulder and what it means to be a Raider and what all those years of toughness and intimidation and having that, and it got lost. I mean, even when I was playing, our offenses struggled, and I'm not saying our defenses were always great, but I knew that. I mean, teams knew this. If you're going to come play us, you were going to get you're going to feel it. Like there's a certain mentality. And here's the other thing. I don't like this, and obviously Crosby, he brings that physicality. I think he might try a little too hard to with all the tattoos and all that bullshit. But I'm not into the penalties. That's not what a Raider's about. A Raider is not about committing penalties and putting your team in a position that they shouldn't be because you went out and did something individually that you thought needed to be done. The Raider way was being a bad motherfucker within the rules of the game. Now, are we gonna test those rules as far as they can go? Absolutely, we are. But we're not gonna do anything that's gonna be detrimental to our team. And sometimes Max does that. And I'd like him to be a little more cognizant of, just like DeVito, right? When that kid didn't do anything and he's pushing him and shit. And it's like, dude, just relax, buddy. Do it within the confines and the rules of the game. There's a mystique. Yep. That word goes into it. There is another word I was thinking of though. But mystique, yep, the nostalgia, the aura, like how we, I thought it was cool when we would travel. Like you could dress up or not, but if you didn't want to dress up, you didn't have to. I mean, I wore a throwback game to every road game. And you look back in the day when the Raiders are getting off the bus and they're wearing jeans and cowboy boots, and Willie Brown was perfect for that. Just kind of seeing it where it's, I don't know. This is my get off my lawn moment. The style of some of these guys, it's like, what the fuck, man? I mean, and again, Crosby's a great player, but in some of the post-game interviews, this Louis Vuitton onesie and all the diamonds, and it's just, and you see Aiden O'Connell up there, I love it. I fucking love it. It's just how I used to be. He's just up there in a white t-shirt and a little gold cross with a little gold necklace with a cross on it. And I don't mind if guys dress up and look sharp, but some of these things I'm going like, what the fuck are you wearing, dude? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. If I saw you walking around, I'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? Oh, what I missed? What position would you upgrade? AP. Absolutely, that's very, very difficult to do. Chris Carr is another guy that did it. I mean, it's almost impossible. I mean, there's so many things that have to work in your favor to make it as an undrafted free agent. I mean, there's not many who have done it. There's not. And for the guys that do, I mean, it is the chances of making it in the NFL is the percentages are so small. And then they're almost just as small of the guys in the NFL of guys that are undrafted free agents that make it. I mean, like I said, it's like it's pretty much impossible. It really is. It really is. It is. Yes. Yeah, I did. Yep. I was drafted in 2004. Was a 67th pick overall to the Raiders. I played for the 4 years with the Raiders, played for the Redskins, the Giants, finished my NFL career with the Detroit Lions, and then played 3 years in the UFL, the United Football League, for the Omaha Nighthawks. My last year of playing pro football was 2012. So God, fucking 11 years. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Goes by quick. God damn it. Do you think Miami and KC are winnable? Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, I absolutely. With the team that we have, with the talent that we have on offense, and now with the guys, with our defense starting to create a God, I'm having my brain's out right now. A culture, but an identity, with our defense creating an identity, the way that Spillane's playing, the way that, I think Moreg and Epps have been playing, with, now bringing in this corner. I mean, we're mixed in with our special teams. Yeah, there's no reason we shouldn't. There's no reason we should not. And there's been years where we just didn't have the talent, right? We were missing that one guy, or, that difference maker on defense or that running back. But I think as far as offense it goes, I mean, shit, what is there any offense you would trade for ours? I wouldn't. I would not. I mean, every position is stacked offensively. I mean, obviously the offensive line, right? That needs a little improvement. But as far as any of the skilled positions or running backs, we could use another, maybe another running back. I talked with that, I think on Wasted or Hammer's show. But as far as receivers, tight ends, quarterback, I mean, shit. I'd put our offense against anybody. Special teams, I think we've got the best kicker in the league. We got a great punter. We got great, coverage skills on our guys. I mean, there's no reason we can't win these games. Seriously. I don't think that mentality was lost. It was severely affected by Roger Goodell and his antics. Gruden and his lawsuits are definitely bringing light to the BS Goodell. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Looking like Seth Rollins. Hold on. Let me hold on. Let me just make sure isn't he the guy that he's got the deep voice, right? I think I know who you're talking about. Let me look here though. He became like an actor, even though he started. Oh, he's a wrestler. Oh shit. This Seth Rollins is only 6'1", 220. He ain't shit. I mean, he's not a bad looking guy. Shit, I've not a bad comparison. Let's see. Thank you. Shout out to all the Docs losers. What up, Raider Ben? Do you miss Logan? Actually, our high school, my high school, Saginaw Heritage, home of the Hawks. They actually made it into the third round of the playoffs. They just lost to Muskegon. But we actually had and I'm very happy with the coach. He's been there for 3 years now. Our receiver, Braylon Esam, actually set the state record for receiving touchdowns. I think the previous record in the state of Michigan, the most receiving touchdowns ever in the state of Michigan was 54. I want to say Esam finished with like 57, 58. So I loved high school, man. I really did. I thought high school was the best, man. Wearing your jersey to school and, the bands and the cheerleaders and just, I loved getting after the game going and watching the Friday night highlights and stuff, man, seeing if your name's in the paper or pictures in the paper the next day, man. I loved high school. I loved it. Stu, go check out the Jack Jones locker room interview. He's fired up. I'm going to pull it up right now. Let's see. Ba, 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 ba. Go here. Let me see. Jack Jones. Keep wanting to say Jack Johnson. Jack Jones. Let's see. Raiders. Here we go. Let's see. I don't want to. How do I? Can you guys here? Hold on. You guys hear that? Can you guys hear that? Hammer, what's going on?
What's up, bro? Oh, there we go. What's up, bro?
Nothing. I was. Hey, can you hear this?
I just heard those little dings. Yeah.
No, can you hear this? You can't hear that?
Nope.
How do I because someone was telling me to listen to Jack Jones interview. I wanted to listen to it, and I wanted
hold that thought. Let me see if I can find it for you. Is it on YouTube?
Yep.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll find it for you. Salute to the nation. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, go ahead and play it.
Can you hear it? Hold on. Let me make one adjustment. Maybe this will help. Give me 2 seconds. Audio. Oh, that explains it. Give me 2 seconds.
All right.
Ooh, that's not good. No. Should be good. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it. Same goes for the chat.
Wait, what? Sorry, what'd you say? Wait, are you playing it?
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't hear it.
All right. He pretty much said like he didn't think that maybe he didn't fit there. He's happy to be here. He's going to contribute however he can, which we talked about earlier. Like I do see him getting some playing time this coming week, especially with Amik Robertson being out with that concussion. Like there's no way. If he's cleared, I would be stunned as hell. The way he went down, like we saw that hit and we saw him laying flat on his back, and it was just like,
that looked like a pretty severe concussion.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh my goodness. Whew. Hold on one sec. What else were you talking about? Because like I just finished doing some things around the house, and
no, nothing. I was actually just almost kind of wrapping up. But I was just talking about I watched them against the Chiefs. I watched them against New England, and just seeing how they test the edges. You know, any type of motion you see going towards the sideline, usually they're doing that to open up the middle, to hit the middle. They'll run that little jet sweep, but they'll do the fake and then throw it deep. But they get the ball out quick. You know, I mean, it's going to be tough to I think they have it that way, so he doesn't get sacked and stuff like that, right? So he's going to get the ball out quick. And I talked about just anytime I don't see us doing a whole lot of like zero coverages to where the guys have no help behind them.
No, I'm not
You know what I
doing.
mean? And
There's
if
no
they're
need for that.
what's that?
There's no need for that. Like realistically, like I think right now for us, like we've really have not been consistently in the zone like we once were. We've done a lot of different things, especially when it comes to the front seven. Various blitzes, different stunts across the offensive line, which is actually like amazing right now. Coverage wise, you'll see cover 3, you'll see cover 4, you'll see different things. You'll probably see them send whoever's going to be playing slot corner this Sunday. They'll be sending him every once in a while as well. So
Yeah,
I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do and what we'll be capable of doing. Because my concern, again, that left side of our offensive line right now, with Dylan Parham being out of practice today, Colton Miller still dealing with that the shoulder injury, like limited, did not practice. Like this is gonna be a test. Like these next 2 weeks, realistically, are the ultimate test moving forward, and seeing what we can do after these next 2 weeks. I'm telling you, like I said it time and time again, the rest of this season and the rest of the opponents that we have, a lot of them are conference games. Like we were talking about the 2024 draft. We were talking
Yep.
about our current record right now. The Colts are ahead of us. The Colts are 5-5, surprisingly enough, and their rookie quarterback is out for the year. So now it's like Minshew to handle business up there. All of a sudden, the Broncos beat the Bills. Granted, the Bills have a very depleted defense at this point in time. They fired their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, right after the game, pretty much. There's a lot of things going on up there. Like,
well, that's one thing I talked about. Right now, you're kind of at that part of the season where you're going to see teams starting to trend up, and then you're going to see other teams that may have started off well, they start to slip down. And,
right.
As far as Miami goes, they're coming off of a loss, right? They had a bye week, the game's at home. Everything as far as any of the pressure goes, it's on them, right? And one of the things we were talking about earlier was, can we beat Miami and Kansas City? And I said, yeah, I mean, offensively, what other offense has as many weapons as we do? I mean, besides, the offensive line, but as far as tight end, receivers, running back, quarter, I mean, we're stacked at positions.
We are, and they're finally being used the correct way. They're being used to their strengths. Again, Sunday night against the Jets, first drive, they were loading the box. They were expecting JJ to do something, and let's start airing it out today. And got a couple of receptions early.
And that's one of the things I listened to Devontae Adams talk, and he said how he really liked how they got him going early, right? And he talked about how Aiden O'Connell's kind of coming out of his shell and being more confident and all this type of stuff. And that's all great. That's all stuff that is going to, and then the other thing is now our defense is getting a identity. You know what I mean? Like those guys are playing with some confidence and are guys that are now making differences in the game that are going to help us win. Right. I mean, I think this game's going to be our safeties, Morag and Epps. I really believe that we're going to need them on that run support on the edges, but we're also going to need them for help over top.
We definitely will, especially again, the speedster and Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle will get involved. Anything's possible right now, man. And again, like they've won three of the last 5. Lost KC. KC, we know KC is going to be KC. They won by a touchdown.
Yeah.
The Eagles, kind of a given.
Yeah.
But look.
But really, that KC game, I watched it, and if it wasn't for that strip fumble touchdown, they don't win that game.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Miami was driving down there towards the end, and they got stuck on that fourth down, and I think it was a misfumbled snap or whatnot. But that's I also said that I think that this is going to be the game because we handily beat the Giants, okay, and the Giants weren't very good. The Jets was a better team, but still quarterbacks nothing special. This is the game where I'm excited for this game to really see how we we fair and match up.
And I think it's going to, like I said, we hang in this. We establish a run quick and early. We do our business on the defense and trying to stop that run and stop those speedsters. Anything's possible right now. It really is. I do think that this is going to be a shootout. We talked about the numbers earlier in regards to the Dolphins, their rankings, especially when it comes to the offense. Just got to wait and see, man. We still got a couple of days. I can't wait for Sunday to be here already and just call this game.
It'll be good. And obviously in the chat, guys, you see that there's someone in there that's just trying to create. I don't know what he's trying to create because I've never done anything to him. So some of the comments that he's making obviously aren't even close to being true. But one thing I don't do is I don't block people. So if he wants to continue to just be in here and express those opinions, he can. It's just making himself look stupid. So don't worry. I see the comments, and it's unfortunate that people have to do that. So anyways, that'll be the last I address that. So no, man, that's about it, dude. I appreciate you pulling up, man. I mean, I think we had a good time, talking that we did on your show on Wasteds. I got across what I wanted to as far as just giving my opinion on some of the offensive things that I saw from the Dolphins. Again, their secondary is experienced, but they're nothing that is like scares me. I mean, I don't think it's I don't see any matchups that our offensive players can't beat. And again, I mean, you see that they're heavily on Hill, right? I mean, he's 20 catches above anyone else close on the team. So if you're able to take away him, they're going to struggle a little bit. With us, we got weapons all over. So you take one away, there's another guy, right? You really can't focus on just one dude.
No, you're right. But I'm also concerned as you're talking about it right now. Like I'm thinking about our secondary and our matchups. Who's lining up against Waddle? Who's lining up against Tyreek Hill?
Well, I think we do some zone stuff, to be honest with you. I think we as a team, we defend those guys.
Do you think we're gonna rely on that though throughout the game? Or do you think like they're gonna test the waters a little bit and then Patrick Graham will make the necessary adjustments to see where they stand in regards to playing that zone against these guys on offense, against Miami's offensive weapons?
Or a two-man concept, where we're lined up, but the each side of the field at least has a fail-safe with the safeties.
Do you think we have somebody that brackets Tyreek Hill?
Yeah. I think you have to. I mean,
like, who do you want that guy to be? Who do you think that guy should be?
Well, maybe you put Jack on the outside and you bring, and forgive me, I always forget it, 24. Maybe you put him. Peters as far as a cover guy, put him on him, and then through, maybe you lock the outside corner and the safeties are playing combo with him on Hill, where either, he's inside and they're high out, or, he's low and outside and they're high inside, or even with the linebackers, right? Running some type of combo. If he runs these in cutting routes, just different things. I think where you're going to run into trouble is if you put a guy out there on an island and let's say you try to bring some pressure. I don't think all their routes are fast running routes. I mean, that ball's gone pretty quick,
right?
Whether that's a quick slant, whether that's, a 7-8 yard dig in, or whether that's just a quick fade because their defensive backs are too close to the line of scrimmage on something.
I like what Cool Kev said in the chat, and salute to him. Johnson and bracket with Bennett. I was thinking about Bennett because Bennett is that speedster. He has a really solid 40 speed. I think he might be the one guy that will be able to stay hip to hip with Tyreek Hill. we got to wait and see how they decide to prepare for this. So
Yeah, and that's one of the things too. I'm like, do we have DBs fast enough? And it's not about the speed. It's about the positioning. It's about the pre-snap reads. It's about knowing the down and distance and lining up properly and knowing where your help is. That's how you can combat a guy that's faster than you is being able to, now again, if we're in a matchup and you're pressed on him knowing there's no help back there, that's probably not a good look for us.
Right. I do not want to. I really am like, I would not want to see anybody press on Hill because
unless we know there's
somebody's back there, but
yeah.
like his release speed is just insane, man. So
yeah, so again, on the edge there, play cover 3 where those corners are the deepest guys, or play cover 4 where those corners are deep, right?
Yeah, that's what I said before. I think like that's going to probably be the best option for us is like stay at a 2. We definitely got to run a 3, maybe a cover 4, and just see what the possibilities are. I don't think Tua has seen a rush like ours this year. We beat Miami last year. That's Raiders content. That's debatable right now. We know who we have on the left side for our edge in Max. Kuntz is kind of coming around right now, but we've talked about in regards to the right side of our defensive line, our edge rushers anyways. I believe the total sacks for those 2 guys is like 2.5 sacks on the year.
Well, right now I'm looking, the Ravens lead the NFL with 39 sacks.
Right.
And going down here, the Dolphins are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're 9th in the NFL with 29 sacks. And we are 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th in the NFL with 26 sacks.
Vast improvement compared to last year. Like the interior, I'm still a little weary about, but again, handcuffs are off on the defense and these guys are doing a little bit more, but they still really need to focus on trying to stop the run. And that seems to be like, it's been our Achilles heel for the last few years. And you thought that bringing in the depth that they did on the interior line and having some type of rotation was going to help the cause. But
well, I brought up the point that you had talked about how, Chandler Jones leaving really affected, I think, what they were going to do with number 9.
Absolutely.
I think it did. It fucked us.
And then we talked about this, at least Wasted did. Wasted did a short on this a couple of days ago, and shout out to him. Like he had talked about potentially us bringing in Jason Pierre-Paul. He had a really solid year last year with Baltimore. We know him from his primarily his career with the New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
The Saints picked him up the other day, and it was just like, damn, there's another one we could have had. People have been in my chat. Hey, what about Melvin Ingram? Dude is a hybrid. You can plug and play him as an outside linebacker. You can put him at the edge. He's another guy I wouldn't mind taking the flyer on. I'd much rather have another veteran on the opposite side of Max to be able to mentor both Kuntz and Tyree Wilson and let these guys, especially Tyree, let him develop. We'll see, though.
Well, no, and right here, that's exactly what they do, man. It's quick. It is quick. Because here's what they want to do. You talked about this, Hammer. They want to get that ball into the receiver's hands as fast as they can to let him work, right? Get it to him in space and let him do the work rather than the receiver trying to get open on his route and finding a spot. They want to get it to him right now so that he can go and he can get the ball and make adjustments. And then they're going to send everyone to the edges, right? They're going to send them. And that's what they do outside. So you start spreading that defense out. Then they come and they sit down right in the middle and they hit you up in the middle. So again, they have a very good, and I looked at it, they have a very balanced attack as far as runner pass goes. I mean, they really do, so.
Coach McDaniel and Tua better think twice before trying to do any quick releases on some quick slants to Tyreek Hill in the middle. You'll have Divine Diablo and Spillane waiting to just take his head clean off.
Yep. And they run that. They'll run those they'll run those quicks. You know,
Yep.
I saw them run them a couple times. So they have a very. I think it's a simple offense, but it's hard to stop. You know what I mean? They're gonna force you out, then go in, and as soon as you go in, they're gonna go out. They're just gonna do the opposite of what you're doing.
Right.
Which, and again, you don't with a balanced offense, it's hard. It's hard to make calls defensively, and it's hard because you don't have that read on. Oh, they like to run on this situation, or they like to pass. They keep you guessing. So you gotta. Our guys' eyes have to be very, very good this week on their keys, and we have to be gapped out up front, because that's the other thing they'll do is Mostert will hit here, and he's looking like kind of like that Denver used to do and waiting for a gap to open up, and then boom, he's up there and he's going.
That's that Shanahan offense that McDaniel emulates a lot of Mike Shanahan's offensive schemes from back in the day when he was with Denver. Shout out to LU in the chat. I think Tampa 2 would be effective and let the D line pin their ears back. I like that. I like that concept. But like I said, I'm somewhat nervous about running the cover 2 in regards to the speed of these guys. I would much rather have guys in the right spots, especially in like a cover 3. You can have, whether it being the nickel or even Spillane or Diablo, one of those guys playing one side of the flats and making sure that somebody's there at all times to prevent a swing back, to prevent some type of jet sweep. Like, so we need that type of disruptor and somebody just waiting there for that to happen. At the same time, we know what Max can do. We know Max will be able to contain his side, but that opposite side, whether it being Koontz or Wilson, they gotta sit tight. They have to contain that outside. They cannot let it.
Well, the one thing about Tampa too, if you look at it, right, I do like the corners on that cloud, because you know they're in that area. If they do test the edges, right, you're not trying to have it to where the linebackers are being inside and chase those guys out. You already have guys sitting there, right? But the only problem is in Tampa 2 was named because of Derek Brooks, right? Because he could run up the middle with those seam routes, right?
Yep.
So Tampa 2, your corners are going to get, or your safeties are going to get wider. But if we don't have a guy that can run up the middle and play deep, you can get fucked. It's tough because those safeties are getting wider because they know they have help in the middle. But that middle linebacker, and I don't see Spillane doing that, maybe Diablo, but he's got to find that number 3 guy coming up. And what they'll do is they'll disguise it, right? You know, they'll have a bunch. They'll have a bunch here. Let's say, you know, here's, you know, here, and they'll have a bunch over here. Out of these guys, someone is coming and doing this, but you don't know who. You don't know who it is, right? Yep. You know, this guy could come out, this guy's here, and if you don't have proper eyes, and let's say all 3 of these guys are coming up the field, and at the last they cut in, it's tough on that. It's tough on that that middle linebacker to be able to make a play on that. So that'd be the only downside I see of cover 2 Tampa. But again, I like that too, because you do have hard corners on the edge there, you know, that are going to be able to stop any type of outside stuff. So, but again, dude, I think it's going to be a great game. I'm excited to see where we're at. I said I don't see us being out of any game. I see every game from this point, you know, against like Miami and KC, going into the 4th quarter and us having a chance to win.
Absolutely.
Well, Hammer, hey, thank you so much for pulling up. Thank you, everybody, for coming in here, the 158 people that are in this here. I want to thank you. And what do you got going on the rest of the week?
We'll be doing a matchup preview. I'm thinking, I said this earlier, I think either Friday or Saturday. But I'm just waiting to get the confirmation on that. This has been a very eventful week. We had Ty Butler from ESPN Radio New York come on last night. We were on for about 45 minutes. That was a phenomenal show. Definitely appreciated him pulling on up. He was definitely still kind of pissed off about the loss. As he's a Jet fan and he covers all New York sports. So It was actually funny.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out.
Conversation with him, most definitely. And those that are in here, if you haven't already, come on over to Raider Nation News Today on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Again, tonight's show, phenomenal show. We covered the press conferences. We gave the injury report. We actually talked a little matchup preview, which was something that wasn't even planned. We talked about this first mock draft that CBS Sports came out with and who they have us projected.
Yep.
Our first round pick, Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama. And then we had Stu grace us with his presence for a good half hour. It was, again, a phenomenal show. So appreciate those that pulled on up for that as well.
Absolutely. And thanks again for allowing me on your show. And thanks for pulling up on here, Hammer. And shit, are you doing obviously you'll be doing a watch party, I'm assuming, right? Or
yeah, we will be live on Sunday for the game. Gonna have to schedule that as well. Guys, pull on up, show your love, show your support. Y'all know what it is. We do those games. We got the full functioning scoreboard. Everything is on the up and up with us. So yeah, definitely pull on up. Come hang out with us, enjoy the game. Let's have a good time. Let's get this win.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Go Raiders.